I'm hitting going live. Oh boy, more things to learn. Yeah, let's copy that link. We'll paste it here. Let's see how that goes. OBS is working. YouTube sees me. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'm trying something different today because YouTube Studio has like this updated, redesigned approach for their web live streaming service that actually works a bit more like Facebook Live, which I know it sounds bizarre, but I do actually have experience with that. I helped my father live stream his charter school's graduation, and I'd never used Facebook Live before, but it's kind of like that. So essentially, you hit start streaming in OBS, and then that sends a preview to YouTube, and then from YouTube you hit start streaming, because having more options obviously makes far more sense, doesn't it? That makes perfect sense. Oh well. What else does it not support? Stream latency does not support 1440p in 4K resolutions. Okay. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for tuning in. I enjoyed our last couple random Q&As, so I thought I'd do another one. But I'm glad to say this is not going to be an exclusive live streaming channel, though. We still have some vlogs coming out. I'm glad we got a few vlogs out this week. I feel bad. I know a lot of people have been watching the tech vids, but at the same time, I feel like things come up and I spend my time poorly and I don't get as much content up as I want. It may seem like a lot, but when it's a full-time job, I think 2 videos a day is, you know, I guess it's enough, but I would feel better if I did 3. So thankfully this week I made that more consistent and I got more like 3 videos up a day for a while. But counting live streams, last week I didn't get as much up as I was hoping to. So that definitely was a little bit discouraging, but oh well. I'll try my best. Luckily, you guys can see what the tennis matches are like now, thanks to those new vlogs. So we actually have those. Hey, Alexander Garlock, asking how's it going. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. It is going well. This is, I know it's Thursday for those of you in the U.S., but for me, this is Friday because we're not working tomorrow, so I get the day off tomorrow. So this is kind of my last stretch of the day. After this, I'm going to go play some more tennis with Louise. Hopefully I can do better if I'm not filming, but we'll see. Am I the only one whose weather widgets are gone? No, you're not. It's definitely part of the beta, though, and I've noticed that as well. My widgets have been acting up quite... Oh, my God. Holy crap. Oh, dang it. I just had a bug on iOS 14, and it went away. Dang it. It was like the Apple TV app was enormous for some reason. It took up the entire home screen. I wish I could have showed that. I'm trying to recreate it now. It's not working. Oh, well. In Australia, it is Friday. What I mean by Friday, it's weird. Me and Louise kind of keep on those traditional, what's it called? Traditional expressions of the weeks. So, like, if it's our last day of work, we'll say it's Friday, even if it's not Friday. Or if we have the whole day off, we consider that our Saturday, even if it's not Saturday. So we're like, hey, today's our Friday, or hey, today's our Saturday, even when it's not that because of her schedule. So yeah, today's my Friday. That's why I'm pumped. I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. Hope the 12 batteries are good. Me too. I'm excited for iPhone 12 leaks to be done because we've definitely been talking about it and covering it for a long time, to the point that it's starting to get old. And I'm like, okay, what are we right about? What are we wrong about? Let's see. Let's actually get some answers here. So I guess we'll find out within a matter of months. We could know all this information within the next 2 months. So I guess we'll find out eventually. But I've got more vlogs planned that I hope I can make next week. We'll see. But man, July is flying on by. Can you guys believe 2020? We're past the halfway mark already. That's insane. That's crazy. You should try pickleball if you like tennis. It's very fun. I actually do have slight experience with pickleball. I used to play it at my grandparents' house. They had like a pickleball court in their backyard, and we really enjoyed me and my sister playing that when we were playing in there when we were little. But I think we played it with tennis balls. So it was the pickleball paddles, but yeah, we haven't tried that. We'd have to buy more stuff. We'd have to buy different equipment. The whole point of this is to save money. Oh, well, that's okay. But yeah, if we ever get the chance to try something else, I'm sure. I do care about 120 hertz, but I don't think it's happening. I care about it. I just don't anticipate it to happen. Um, let's see. Yeah, no Big Sur public beta either. You know, you're like the eighth person, Jonathan, to compliment me on the Sherlock poster. We have like a very small but very passionate subset of Sherlock fans out in the audience. I'm actually a much bigger fan of seasons 1 and 2. I wasn't crazy about 3 and 4. They were both good. I'm not saying they're bad. To me, the show kind of went on a decline after a while. Let's see. Takes up your storage fast. That is true. How is Mint Mobile working out for you? For me, it's been great. There's been a few situations where the coverage wasn't good, but I guess I had that same story with Verizon. But for the most part, yeah, it's been decent. I enjoy it. How much of your audience is from the UK? I'm curious how many of us Brits tune in. Well, I can look that up, actually, because Creator Studio gives us that info. So I assume you mean tech. We could look at the info for talks, but that's a whole lot less data. So I'm going to pull it up here. Audience. United Kingdom is actually my second largest demographic at 8%. It may not seem like that much, but that's what it says. I don't know if you can see that, but the United States is by far the largest at 41%. And then it goes United Kingdom, Canada, India, Germany, Australia, Philippines, Netherlands, Singapore, Malaysia, Sweden, Mexico, South Africa, and the rest of those are like under 1%. So it's a bunch of really, really small pieces that add up. I like how other is 11%. I wonder what other means. That's interesting. Are you going to go back to doing talks podcasts? Because I love them when you did them in the big office. Yeah, we like doing them too. The issue is, I think Louise is working a bit harder or longer than she used to back then. And we don't really have the time in our days to keep going with those. So I don't really know of a good time we can keep doing them. But I don't know. I'd like to. I'd like to do more talks podcasts where basically we could invite more guests on, just like people that I don't want to just talk about tech with and talk about other stuff like YouTube creator stuff and life stuff and that kind of thing. I like podcasts that dive into things other than tech because I kind of get sick of talking about tech all day, every day. You know, there are certain times where I can just talk about tech nonstop, but after a while you're like, I need a break. You need a palate cleanse, basically, you know. Let's see. Where's your Doctor Who poster? I'm not a Whovian. I know a lot of people that are Whovians, but I never got into Doctor Who. I had a really close friend that was super into it, and he tried to get me to watch it a few times, and I never liked it. And all the people I knew who did watch it stopped watching it. So I don't know what happened, but I know a lot of people quit watching it after a while. Want to stream the Crew Dragon Splashdown on August 2nd? I actually don't know what time the Splashdown is, but I'm excited to watch it. I don't have any plans on live streaming any of the SpaceX stuff because, like I said before, I really don't have much input or much commentary to add. I'm just interested in it, but I don't think me reacting to it would be very interesting. I don't think people would need to watch that. There's enough other channels doing that already. Let's see. I have used the beta of WatchOS 7. Yes, it's pretty stable. It's been fine. Do you think we will get 64 megapixel cameras, 8K? There was a pretty early rumor. I'm not sure if those are still sticking around. I'm going to guess no, because 8K is probably not going to be utilized or that useful given how much storage it takes up. But appreciate the super chat. And I don't think that's a highly requested feature. I think it's something Samsung did to show off, but in practice, it's actually pretty horrible. 8K does not look good on a phone. I have not watched NCIS, but I know a lot of people who do. I can't watch everything. Let's see. The top countries mainly speak English. Makes sense why they are your main audience. That does make sense. You can appeal to as many demographics as you want, but ultimately I think people will fundamentally realize when you are when you're part of that demographic or you're not. You know, there's some people that could be like, okay, there's a bunch of people in India, so I'm going to try to make videos about things for the Indian market, but you don't know that market because you're not a part of it that well. You don't really have a great grasp on what people care about there or what phones they're interested in there. So you could try, but a lot of the time you'll find out the audience will bring up things like, why are you talking about this? We don't care about that. Or why do you care about this price point when that doesn't make a big difference here? So it ends up being a lot of work, which is why I guess I mainly prioritize the U.S. demographic, just because I know it very well. I'm part of it, so I can understand it a little bit better, and I don't have to like do extensive research to figure out how to adapt to different demographics. We'll see. What is my favorite movie? I don't have a singular favorite movie. I just have like favorite picks for different genres. But I really like The Dark Knight Rises, as you can tell by the posters behind me. I was really pumped for that movie, which we just passed the 8-year anniversary. Actually, The Dark Knight Rises, I'll never forget, was July 20th, 2012, and the reason that date is burned into my brain was because I was so excited for it. I was looking forward to it all year, and I was like, before iPhone leaks were really that big of a thing, I was watching like Dark Knight Rises leaks. I was looking at pictures of them filming it and that kind of thing, and I couldn't wait for the next trailer to drop, that I would watch the trailers for trailers and that kind of thing, that I was like, oh man, this is going to be big. This is going to be exciting. Yeah, Blackmagic decided that 12K should be a thing. Yeah, that's a little different. Blackmagic, they're designing cameras for like movies and TV shows, not smartphones, so that's a little different. But yeah, 12K, I think even Blackmagic still admitted is overkill, and that the point of filming in 12K is that you can crop and scale down to 8K. So nowhere on the website where they like, now you can view your content in glorious 12K, because they know there's not a screen or a monitor out there that is 12K. It's kind of ridiculous. You can't really find monitors that can view at that resolution without getting multiple monitors that you stitch together, which is kind of cheating because most people aren't viewing content in that way. That's just their desk setups and that kind of thing. So yeah, I have seen the Apple Tracker website. Yeah, I've actually shown it a lot in my tech videos as cutaway shots. It's cool. I like the idea. I think it's really cool that Sam set that up. I like the idea of keeping accurate track records of what leakers and stuff report on. I think that's smart, and I think that's good, because we need better track records, and we need better history of like, here's what this person has said in the past, here's what they were right about, here's what they were wrong about. So seeing him do like a news site that also keeps track of what different analysts are reporting, I was like, this is genius. Why hasn't anyone done this before? You would expect like a big company, like a big media company like Mac Rumors or 9to5Mac or someone like, or Engadget or TechCrunch. You'd expect them to do something like that, but no, it's just this one Sam from iUpdate guy who made it all work. So I think that's pretty awesome, and I wish him the best of luck. I know there's ads on the side. I've seen the ads on his webpage, so I hope he's getting decent money back on that website. I hope it can be profitable for him. No, I would not get a 12K monitor. I don't think 5K is necessary, and that's what I have on my current monitor. I think it's completely overkill, because I've gone from 32-inch 4K and 27-inch 1440p, and they all look the same when you're sitting at a desk. You can't really tell the difference, and it makes your GPU work extra hard. So I think the resolutions of monitors they're still going overkill. If I could have got the iMac Pro with a 1440p display, I would have, because I think that's plenty. I agree. Yes, the clock widget is useless. They added these clock widgets on iOS. They look ridiculous. Why did they make, like, it's literally just, I want to show you guys, for those who don't know what I'm talking about. Look at this widget. It's literally just the clock. That's it. It's just the clock app, but bigger. So you add that to your home screen, right? And it's literally just a giant clock. It's like the size of an Apple Watch face, which I found hilarious. I mean, I guess it's easier to see. Maybe someone who can't see very well would like that. But I mean, the time is already digital at the top part of the home screen at any moment. So why is that widget an option? I have no idea, but it was quite hilarious seeing that was a thing. When people wanted the clock widget, I thought they meant like the world clock. I wasn't anticipating people to have like that much stuff. Yeah. Oh well. Not because of the bugs, but they removed 3D touch on older devices. Yeah, I heard about that too. Which is kind of like, I guess if you're on the 11s, you don't really notice, but the people who still appreciate 3D touch on the older devices kind of notice that kind of thing. No, I can't tell. I mean, from an average viewing distance, no. I can't tell the difference of resolution between 11 and 11 Pro. And personally, I believe that anyone who does say they can see the difference is having a placebo effect. I think there's something to that. There's something to the extent of, I know that the resolution is lower, so my brain is telling me that it's more pixelated, even if it really isn't. Obviously, if you hold the display really, really up close to your face, you'll see a difference, but you're not doing that most of the time. You're just holding the phone, so I don't know. Hey, Apple Monster. Sorry we haven't gotten that collab to work a few times. I reached out to you the most of the times that you wanted to do a collab. I was busy with something else, but we gotta meet up sometime, dude. It's gotta be it's far overdue. I apologize, but Apple Monster asks, is there an option to have a world clock widget on the home screen? Yes, there is. So that's probably one of the biggest changes with the Dev Beta 3 is one of the clock widgets is 4 different time zones at the same time, which I guess if you're traveling a lot would be somewhat helpful, but I don't think that many people are right now. Or you can have a 2x2 clock widget, which some people might want, but I don't know. I don't have a use for it. I actually used the world clock quite a bit when Louise and I were long distance for a time. There was only a few months in the beginning of our relationship where she was in Australia and I was I was at home. So trying to figure out what time it was for her, I had to keep doing the math in my head. So it was a lot easier to just check the world clock and be like, okay, it's the morning for her. I can text her now and that kind of thing. Or it's super late at night. I shouldn't text her right now. Ian Lindsay asked, will there be another Tailosive show? Yeah, I want there to be. Obviously, both me and Louise are pretty busy right now. And since we're both working at home, that makes filming here a little bit more difficult. But I hope we can get back to that eventually. There's no current schedule on it right now, but yeah. Let's see. In John Morrison's video, people could not notice the difference between the 10R and the 10S's displays. I don't know if he compared the 10R and the 10S. I thought he just compared the Pocophone to the 10R. That's the video I saw. Maybe he compared it to something else in a different video, but there is truth to that. Like, if you don't tell people what the resolution is, they statistically are very, very bad at noticing the difference. That's why it's called a retina displays, because it's high enough that the eye can't make out the individual pixels. Now, I've seen and heard a lot of people that say, I can see it, I can tell the difference, I see it there. And I personally think that might be partially placebo. I think that's their brain telling them it's more pixelated because they know it is, but if you don't tell them, they have a hard time, especially when they start holding it really close up to their face and that kind of thing. Truth is, it's really close. Have you ever watched Mahler? His film criticisms and podcasts are so entertaining. I have, actually, yeah. I watched Mahler in the very, very early days. I think I first discovered him when he was talking about Star Wars The Last Jedi. And he was pretty small at the time. I think when I first started watching Mahler, he had like 50,000 subscribers. And I was like, this guy's hilarious. Like, he's got good comedic timing. He's got great points. He can really nitpick a film to death. Like, he can bring up every little point that will go right over your head. And I was just going to check how many subs he had now. Yeah, now he just passed 300,000 subscribers, which is crazy. So he blew up real fast and got a ton of views. And I haven't watched... He doesn't upload that much. I don't listen to his Every Frame a Pause podcast. I never followed that. I never got into it that much. But I really like his stuff. I like his style. Very well done. Well edited. Are you planning on unsubscribing from Apple Music since now you are not using it that much? No, because I'm only paying for it once a year. And after cash back and you consider what it is monthly, it ends up costing around $8 a month to me. And while I don't listen to music that much anymore, still there are tons of circumstances where it may not happen that often, but I mean, there's circumstances throughout the year. I'm not talking on a daily basis, but throughout the year that we call out to Siri on the HomePod and say, "Hey, play this or play this." Or I'm on a road trip and I'm driving and I just tell my watch, I just play this and then it starts playing. So it happens enough that I wouldn't say I don't get good use out of Apple Music, because when there are circumstances like when we're traveling or I'm on a plane. So if I unsubscribed from it now, I would end up just resubscribing to it later. And because I only pay for it once a year, it's not really a monthly recurring cost. It's just a 1 year type thing. So I'm not really worried about it. Yeah, my HomePods would become useless very quickly. That's true. But there is something to be said about the simplicity and ease of just being able to, like when guests come over, not that it happens that often, but when guests and people come over and we want to hang out and we want to set the mood for the scene, we just call out to Siri, "Hey, Siri, play this." And that's it. And they just start playing. We got a super chat from Ryan McKenna here. It says, "When do you think we will get a clear iPhone display with no notch? And do you think it's possible Apple will reduce the bezels on the watch?" Oh, Siri on the iPad is listening to me. Oh, that's a cool little pop-up. I didn't know she did that. Huh. I'm learning more about the iPad OS redesign already. I don't know when we're getting no notch, but I think it's incredibly overrated. I don't think it's that big a deal. I think that people act like it would be a big change, but it really wouldn't. You don't really see the notch when you're using that phone regularly, and if it was gone, you wouldn't notice it. It would be a design change that you would notice for like the first 2 minutes, and then you would just use your phone the same way. So I don't think Apple's going to prioritize removing it that much because most people don't care. It's not a common complaint anymore. When the iPhone X first came out, everyone acted like, "Oh no, there's this big notch, and how soon can we get rid of it?" But the truth is, there are like countless commercials and ads with notchless phones in them, and no one cares, no one notices, no one looks at the TV screen during those ads and thinks, "Wow, look at that gorgeous phone, look at how cool that phone looks." They just think, "Oh, that's someone's phone." And I think Apple realizes that. So they could put a bunch of R&D and a bunch of work into removing the notch, but ultimately I just don't think it makes that big a difference. So it's not high on their priority list. How have I been finding Reddit? I like it. I never really had anything against Reddit. It was just there's so many social media sites I'm trying to stay active on between Twitter and YouTube and Twitch and Instagram that I just never really tackled Reddit because I was like, I don't really know the advantage of being active over there. So I'm not really posting much there. I finally got access. I contacted some of the fans who reached out to... Not reached out, but there were a few fans that started creating Tailosive subreddits, and they weren't owned by me, and they weren't maintained by me, but they were calling them official. This is the official Tailosive subreddit. This is the confirmed subreddit for Tailosive, r/Tailosive, that kind of thing, r/Tailosive Tech. And I finally found these guys and reached out to them, and I was like, "Hey, the problem was people were posting like really inappropriate memes there and stuff that was like not I did not want associated with Tailosive." And I was like, "Ugh, this is kind of a bad look if people go on r/Tailosive. We're like, I wonder if Tailosive's on Reddit." And they open up and there's all these like really, really dark, cringy memes. I was like, I don't think I want that to be the first thing people see if there's a Reddit presence. And Reddit's a pretty big platform. It's pretty, it's got a large active user base. So I was like, I think it'd be best if I move on here, start taking some ownership of things. So thankfully, everyone who created those subreddits transferred ownership to me, so I have them now, and I can maintain them a little bit. I don't have any... I had some ideas of what I could start posting there, but I figured I should just use the site first and kind of get a hang of it, figure out how many people, how people use Reddit, and understand, there's a lot of quirks and features to Reddit I wasn't aware of. So right now I'm just kind of using it as a user, kind of active in a few subreddits like r/Cybertruck, r/Starlink, and that kind of thing. So I'm just viewing it first so I can try to figure out how to maintain my own subreddits better. So we'll see. Yeah, there's no server limit for the Discord. I don't know why it would say that. It could be a Discord glitch or something. Let's see. How long does it usually take to edit a Tailosive Tech video? Probably... I'd say less than an hour now. I've kind of got it down to a system, a fairly simple assembly line process of here's the idea, film the video, import the footage, edit it in Final Cut, export it, upload it. I could make a whole tech video within an hour if I need to, like a decent sized one. Yeah, there's some good sides to Reddit and some bad sides to Reddit, as I've seen. There's some negativity and some positivity. There's just like any social media. There's good parts and bad parts. But I'm learning the ropes. I'm learning my way around. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, it's taken many years of practice to get to the point where I can make videos that quickly. But the truth is, I don't like editing. It's kind of boring and repetitive to me. And I enjoy the filming and the coming up with ideas for video process, but the editing part is the most boring part to me. I wish that could be completely automized. I feel like a lot of it could if the software was right or if there was the right plugins or something like that, but I haven't seen those plugins work so far. My AirPods are still having that charge problem. It killed me. They were doing fine for the last couple of days, and now the left one's only wanting to charge occasionally. Ugh, that annoys me. But yeah, I'm liking Reddit so far. I remember, wasn't Reddit like one of the last big social media sites to not have a mobile app? I remember for a long time it was only available on the web, and you just couldn't. You'd have to go through Safari on your phone to use Reddit, and it was like really late in the game that they finally made a mobile app. I don't know why it took them so long, but they eventually did it. I hope eventually we get Face ID on MacBooks and other Macs. I would like that, but I haven't seen many leaks or rumors to suggest it. So, yeah. I enjoy Discord, though. I think fundamentally I enjoy Discord more than Reddit because Discord has made this interesting way. It's kind of retro. Discord is kind of like going back to the old days of chat rooms online, but being modern and you know, up to date about it. Like, I like the idea that there's a public link you can click to join it, so you can promote it as a YouTuber or a Twitter user or something. You could be like, here's my Discord, but it's not the same basis of like Reddit or Twitter where, yeah, exactly, you're replying to posts. You make a comment and you post it, and then someone replies to that. That's what I kind of don't like about Reddit, is that these comment threads get really messy, like user interface wise. It's like comment, reply to that comment, here's a line, reply to that person's comment, here's another line, and it gets further and pushed out, and you have all these lines threading back to different comments. It just seems kind of messy, whereas Discord is basically like a giant group public chat, which I like, and that encourages discussion. It encourages like an ongoing conversation. So the user interface in the site and the apps and everything is built to basically encourage people to have prolonged discussions on things instead of just making posts and that's it, and you just go off of that. Will next year's iPhone be more of an S year? Oh, for sure, Ryan. Definitely. Next year, I don't even want to think about 2021 because there's already a few times this year where I've been like, I don't know what I'm going to talk about today. I can't really think of that many good video topics, or like I can't think of that many good ideas. 2021 is going to be even worse. This is going to be a growing problem in the tech community. There's going to be a continuous increasing lack of announcements to talk about, and I think we've been spoiled for the past few years. I've been really spoiled in the past few years of my YouTube career, that the iPhone upgrades have been so substantial, like they've been so major, that my channel has been able to kind of piggyback all over the iPhone changes, which have been pretty substantial in the past few years. Like, we got big time lucky with iPhone 10. That's where I think the majority of my channel's audience came from was the iPhone 10 launch, because there were so many leaks, so many rumors. You could talk about it every day easily back when the iPhone, back in 2017, when we were looking forward to the first OLED iPhone and no home button and Face ID. It was this big change. And okay, that was a big year, right? But then the following year, we kind of got special treatment because they introduced the XR and the XS Max, which were taking the iPhone 10, which was major, and then making a cheaper bare essentials version of it, and then making a bigger, more powerful version of it. So that's why 10s Max, 10R, there was lots to talk about, lots leading up to that. And then this year, last year with the iPhone 11s, there was, less to talk about, but it was definitely like ironing things out. But people seem to be really happy with them, with the iPhone 11, with updated cameras, better battery lives, and that kind of thing. They kind of knocked it out of the park with just ironing things out. There was no charge gate. There was no beauty gate or anything. People just, new iPhones were good. They were priced well. We even got fast chargers, There was like a Apple cleanup year. And yeah, the whole camera bump provided a lot of content. And then this year feels pretty big too, because we're getting 4 new iPhones, new form factors, new sizes, new side designs. So there's a lot of content to chat about, the 5G modems, the 5nm chip. I have no clue what big changes they can do in 2021 that's going to give us lots of videos to talk about. So it's going to be quite difficult, I think, for us to find more content other than, Apple Silicon being implemented into more Macs. That could be the driving force of next year, talking about more ARM Macs and that kind of thing. But still, might be pretty tough. That's why I'm talking more about EVs, because I think that market's more interesting. Let's see. On Discord, people aren't trying to get the most upvotes or likes or whatever. That's true, because upvotes aren't really a thing on Discord. You just kind of talk. I like that. I prefer that anyway. It encourages people to not roast each other. It doesn't encourage as much as a mob mentality. There still can be a little bit, but it's not as much. Let's see. Could we do a video collab or podcast? Tag me on Twitter if you're interested in that kind of stuff. I've been, I think a few people can speak from experience when saying that when people want to reach out to me and have me on their channel or have me on their podcast or something, most of the time I'm pretty accommodating. There are certain times of the year where I get busy, but I've been trying to, basically anyone who asks to collab, I almost always say yes. I can't guarantee you that it'll be like right away. It might take a little while for me to find some free time, but I hardly ever say, no, I don't want to collab. That's what I'm trying to do as of lately, because I like collabing with people. I like, it's kind of interesting. It's like a personal one-on-one live stream, because people are calling me and talking to me, and they're asking all kinds of questions. And usually anytime it's a one-on-one with another creator, they usually have pretty good questions, which I like, because, live streams, you get bombarded with all kinds of questions. You got to pick and choose your favorite ones. So, yeah. Yeah, the side cutout won't be fun, but who knows? We won't see it that much. Let's see. I found your channel because of your first video on AirPower in 2018. Wow, AirPower of all things. That's how you found me. Hey, it's Ross. Ross is in the chat. Will Californians need a permit to carry their ARM Apple computer? Good question. Good question. Yeah, I imagine so. You're going to have to take a cool down test whenever you buy a ARM Apple computer. I got the this watch band from Apple. It was a limited edition one. They don't have it anymore, but I got it when I could. Oh god, the centered camera that was rumored was horrible. I don't remember that one. Oh, on the back? Yeah, I remember that one. I think people over-exaggerated. I thought that was fine. I would have been fine with the centered camera on the back. The Legend 27 is asking if Xander and Wyatt still work for me. Wyatt never worked for me. And no, Xander quit working for me a few years ago. We've gone through several, I think 3 or 4 editors now with Tailosive, and there's just always differences arise. Things come up, and people go in different directions, different opportunities open up, and it just didn't work out. But yeah, it happens. That's what happens. So nope, I'm a solo right now. I'm a one-man show. Other than the podcast, I mean, Nick and Randy have been handling that for the past few years, so that hasn't changed. Randy does the audio. Nick does most of the video editing, although he's unavailable this weekend. So I think I'm going to be doing the video editing for the next podcast, actually. Drew quits being an editor for Drew. I'm gonna quit myself here. No, I don't have a P.O. box anymore. Don't send anything to the old P.O. box address. I tried to do a vlog on that, explaining like, hey, people, please don't. We don't have that PO box anymore. The post office screwed that up for some reason. They literally just it was on like a recurring payment program where it was like, you know, once a month they charge my account to have that PO box, and then they lost the banking info I gave them. They were like, hey, your charge didn't go through. And it was on like, I think either a credit card or a debit card, and it was still active. Like my credit card wasn't overdraft, you know, everything was still active. I could still use it. Nothing was wrong. And they're like, hey, we don't have your debit information. It's not working. And I was like, okay, I didn't change anything. I don't know why it wouldn't be working. So I went to them. I went to the same post office. I was like, hey, what do I got to do? How do I give you my information? And they were like, oh, you can't do that here. You have to go to a different post office to get that updated and changed. And they wouldn't let me change it online for whatever reason. You know, this is the post service we're talking about here. So I was like, okay, I can't do it online. I got to go to this other post office, and there was like a big line there, and I don't remember exactly what happened, but at the time that they said, hey, if you don't update your billing info, which I was trying to, and they wouldn't let me, they said, if you don't update it, then we're going to close the PO box. No one had sent me anything for like 3 months or something. So it had been 3 months of no shipments, and I was just like, okay, why am I still paying for this? Just cancel it. I was like, I'm not going to fight USPS on this anymore. So I just uploaded the vlog saying, hey guys, you know, PO box isn't open anymore. Don't send anything. So I did my best to try to keep people aware of that. It's been closed for over a year now, so I feel bad if a fan sent something since then, but I guess they're not paying much attention if they did send anything. Rockford Media, thank you for the $50 super chat. Wow. Hello, Mr. Andrew. Thank you very much. Quite generous. I think he tops everybody in here today for live stream super chat donations. Thank you. Yeah, that USPS can't seem to figure out how PO boxes work. Do you believe that the Apple Card will make some banks consider how complicated they are? I hope so. I mean, I feel like there's been easier and more simple ways of doing it prior, but banks still can't seem to get a grip. I've heard good things about Simple, which is an online bank, and they have a pretty easy-to-use app and credit card, so I've thought about using them, but I haven't really had a good reason to switch banks right now, so maybe in the future we'll switch to Simple. More and more online banks might become a thing, in which case, but I don't expect much of the original big banks to change that much. The best ones are when they route packages in the wrong direction. I ship eBay sales from near Detroit, and packages going east always go west towards Chicago for no reason. Really, Cameron? That's funny. I didn't know that. You know, where I am, they've never given us like detailed tracking info. Like I heard that for a few years now in cities, you've been able to track like the delivery truck and where the truck is that has your package, and they still don't offer that where I am. And that kind of thing. It's been pretty meh when it comes to tracking data. Have you ever sent any of your Apple products via mail for repairs? No, I don't think so. There's an Apple products I have that, like my AirPods, that over time, like one would get quieter than the other, but that I would just return. I would just mail it to them and they would send me a new one. So they didn't send me back the defective one, so I don't think that's what you mean. So yeah, I've never had that happen. I've never had a device that I needed to mail in and then they mail back. This is why I guess I'm mostly an Apple sheep, is because I've just had such a solid experience with Apple products. They usually don't give me that much trouble. There's software issues, but you don't need to mail those in. For the most part, though, compared to other tech products out there, I've never had much of an issue. My Bluetooth keyboard died, and yes, I would love to do something with you once I figure out what. I'm currently in the middle of remodeling my office, but I'm done starting on Vids Monday. Ooh, that's exciting. Cool. An office remodel. That sounds fun. Man, wonder what I could do. Probably get rid of the soundproofing tiles because everyone seems to just hate them no matter what they are. I can't think of a better background, though. That's the thing. Anytime I change backgrounds, that's going to be like 90% of the comments of the videos. Oh, I miss the old background. Old background is better. They said that every time. You know, I moved out of the attic which had like these lime green walls and, you know, filing cabinets behind me. And then I switched. It's like, okay, guys, I got my own custom office with my own custom background. People are like, I miss the attic though. I was like, I'm doing all this work. This is why I don't pay for the big office space anymore. Is because I realized no matter what I did, people were going to be upset with the background. So I was like, you know what? I'm not making videos so y'all can just stare at the background. Oh, shoot. Sorry about that. I put the mouse in the corner of the screen. Just paint the wall blue. I've painted the wall blue in the past, and everyone was unhappy with the color combo. So I've painted walls multiple times, and people were upset with them every time. So it's also like I was renting when I painted those walls blue. These walls I now own, which means that if I paint them blue, I'm going to be the one who has to paint them white again if we ever, you know, sell the house or rent out the house or something like that. Someone says, I can't hear you. I hope there's not an audio problem. Rory, don't freak me out like that. Let's see. Rockford super chatted again. He said, feeling generous today. Fixed an iMac, maxed out on everything except storage. That was scary, but a big payoff. Wow. Okay, thanks for sharing the revenue. Appreciate that. Okay, audio's fine. Thank you. So Rory just can't hear me, maybe because his volume was turned all the way down. Oh, well. Change the background, then make a super controversial video so that people only talk about the background and not the actual video. Oh, okay. Blurb has come up with some big brain ideas here. That's a good idea. I think there was a slight part of me. You remember back, I think it was last year, I made a video about why Apple ships slow chargers with their phones. I had that idea for a long, long time. When I first came up with it, I was like, that would get so many clicks. Like, not that I didn't believe it. I'm still in the Ross is like, make the background purposefully asymmetrical. I feel like I already do. Whenever I set up the camera, I see all the soundproofing tiles and how off they are. Well, I think Ross knows that. Ross came over to my house once and looked at the wall, and he was like, this would drive me insane. He said something like that last time he was here. But yeah, the problem is the soundproofing tiles were really cheap. I bought a bunch of them, and they're not all the same size, which is why they will never line up. So it's not just a matter of me being sloppy. It's also a fact that they can never be symmetrical because they're different sizes, and I don't know. They're all variable sizes. It's not like there's a bunch of this size and then a bunch of this size. So more posters? I don't know about the tech background, but I don't know. I think people overthink their sets sometimes. That's probably not why people subscribe to you. What I found funny was Marquez got that whole giant office space, but it, like every single video he shot has had the same background. He got that giant airline hangar as his new office, but every single background is just him sitting at his desk, which could be done in a very small, basic room. Which I'm like, okay, I mean, that's a lot of money, but, well, you know, you do you, I guess. Yeah, every time I painted a wall, people didn't like it. So I'm going to try something else this time. But yeah, Rockford, thank you for the super chats. Keopsis23 super chat. It says, hello from myself and the wife. Hope all is well. Here's a few dollary dues for a coffee or 1/100th of an Apple accessory. Thank you, Keopsis. Good to hear from you. Appreciate the dollary dues. We don't drink coffee, but we'll take what we can get. Thank you. That's that screw you money he'd be making. Yeah, I hope you guys are doing well. I hope we can visit you guys someday when the world is less on fire. For those who don't know, Keopsis is a guy I've talked to a lot in the Discord that we've chatted about meeting up a few times, but he's cool. We have some similarities because we're both married to a Filipino woman, so we're like, hey. So we talk about what it's like to be a white man in a Filipino culture, which is pretty common, actually. Apple patent prints in the background. I don't know. That could be somewhat interesting. Maybe one day I should just upload a video of me talking, but I'm not standing there and it's just the background. So I'm just off camera talking. Drew's my future broski. We're current broskies. We're just long distance broskies. uh, any thoughts on the future of Apple Silicon in regards for gaming? I wouldn't expect anything to change. Apple Silicon will be better at gaming than the current hardware, but the reason Macs don't game is because people don't optimize their games for Mac. There's really nothing that wrong with the hardware of the Mac. It's just that game companies don't optimize their games for Macs because they know that there's not that many gamers on Mac, so there's not much financial incentive to. People come for information, stay for your personality. They appreciate the honest perspective. Well, thank you, Ross. I hope I have that perspective. But oh yeah, that I was just thinking. I was on a rant about something I couldn't remember. The slow charger video I made last year that was like, here's why Apple ships slow chargers. I knew that would get a ton of views because a bunch of people would disagree with me on it. But the part of my logic with it was, I got a new office, I got a new background, and I want people online who are aware of Talos of Tech. Maybe they're not a fan, maybe they're not a subscriber, but I want them to at least know this is a good way to let all the haters know that I got a new office. So every time I switch offices, I'll do some type of huge controversial video. And I want you to know it's not like me faking an opinion so I get views. To me, it's like striking the gold mine when I have an opinion that I'm convinced on, that I can argue, that I think I can argue really well, to the point that I can make a video breaking it down, and a lot of people will agree and a lot of people will disagree, which is why there were a few things I would have changed about that video, because in hindsight there were a few examples that were wrong and incorrect, but the overall point of that video I think still stands, and the like to dislike ratio is like perfectly tied, which I thought was cool. It's like 7,000 likes, 7,000 dislikes. And I'm like, kind of making something right down the middle where everyone's divided on it that's key. That's awesome. So I don't know of another good controversial video like that currently, but I have to believe in it. I won't fake an opinion for a controversial topic. I will say that, because you're right, Ross. The honest perspective is important. And if you started making up fake opinions for the sake of controversy, people would see through that right away. But I just happen to have opinions that people don't agree with. Thankfully, a lot of people don't agree with. Leia Knight, thank you for the super chat. Says, which psoriasis treatment did you use? I also have it and seems to have had great success for you. So it took me a while to get it because it's not like a super plentiful medication. It's something a dermatologist has to be like convinced you need it. So it's called Cosentyx, which I believe is spelled. They should really sponsor me. I mean, I don't do sponsorships, but they should send me this stuff. I mean, they're already sending it to me for free, thankfully, because they have a copay assistance program. But it took me a few months before I actually qualified for it, because they won't hand it out to everybody. They will only prescribe it to people if you're like in real dire need of it. And when I met the dermatologist, he was like, okay, well, it takes a few months to get approved for the Cosentyx. That's why I don't have, the red patches up here, or the patches on my eyes anymore. I watched one of my older videos from last year. I think it was the Mint Mobile video I watched, and I was like, oh my God, I had so much patchiness on my face. It's disgusting. I look totally different now because I've lost weight and got rid of psoriasis. So I'm like, whoa, that's cool. But yeah, it's Cosentyx, I believe is how it's spelled. It did a vlog on it. You can just scroll back to one of the older vlogs on this channel. But essentially, it took, I think, 3 or 4 months before I was like approved for it. They had to like ask me a few questions about like, are you going to be diligent with this medication? Do you trust your doctor's advice? That kind of thing. Which would be funny if they took that survey and you're like, no, I went to the doctor, but I don't trust his advice. Yeah. Should try out for modeling. Never know unless you try. Yeah. I could be a psoriasis model somehow. But, oh God. Yeah, it was really exciting how quickly it started working. It only took like 2 or 3 weeks before all the psoriasis started going away. Now Drew's skin is silky beautiful. How come you don't play Forza Horizon 4? I don't own it, and I don't really have a device set up right now that can play it. Yeah, it could be Linus Tech Tip's new hand model. Actually, my nails are the one thing that haven't quite recovered all the way. They're getting better. They're starting to look more and more natural, but they still have a little scars on them. There's these little uprooted sections that haven't quite recovered yet, but they're getting better. They're improving, so hopefully they keep changing. Where are you up to with your financial budgeting for your Model 3? We don't really, that's not how we're handling it, because right now we're mainly just trying to focus on investing and building up our emergency fund. So like I've talked about before, Tesla's not a huge priority for us because we're barely driving as is. I like how some Tesla YouTubers try to make the argument that, like, I bought a Tesla because it saves me money. It's so much cheaper. I can't make that argument. My car was $3,000, and we do not spend $200 a month on gas anymore. We spend maybe $40 a month on gas. So it would take a good, 50 years of driving a gas car before it would have made sense to buy a Tesla instead. So yeah, why don't I take my Hyundai rock climbing or mud digging? You know what a Hyundai Sonata looks like, Ian? Look up Hyundai Sonata 2007 and tell me that would be good for mud digging. It's not an off-road vehicle at all. I think it's a V4. It's not fast. It's not a high-performance car at all. The only thing that impresses me about that car is the range and the sound system. Surprisingly has a pretty good sound system on the inside for a car we bought used, really, really cheap. Literally, my iMac Pro that I'm using right now costs more than my car. But that says more about the iMac, I think, than it does the car. But it's still working. Hey, it's still driving. It's got I think it hit 160,000 miles or something. And it's going strong. It's still holding up. So yeah, I admire Tesla. I love Tesla. Their vehicles are awesome, but it's very hard. It's not the same thing as buying an iPhone because the iPhone will pay for itself with just a few videos about the iPhone. Whereas the Tesla, that's not the case. You won't make a few videos about a Tesla and pay for the whole car. It's not that simple. What object is the most persistent throughout your life? Whoa. CNOW text. That is a deep question. Let's see. What object is the most persistent throughout your life? I think this is a great question. No, I only got this office chair like a year ago. I think my laundry basket. I have the same laundry basket now that I had when I was like a little kid. Like when my parents sold their childhood house that I grew up in. No, actually before that. When I moved out of my parents' house, they let me have the clothing, what's it called? The laundry basket. They let me have that dirty laundry basket when I moved out. So I had that with me when I moved out of my parents' house, and when me and Louise moved in together, when we got married, obviously, we still have that basket. And to this day, now in this house that I've bought and paid for, I still have that. So, yeah, I think that's the most consistent. I think that's the most consistent one throughout my whole life. The hamper. We used to call it the hamster when we were little. I don't know why, but we called it the hamster. Apple Watch is pretty consistent, but it changes usually whenever I get a new watch. So I had oh my God. Why is there so much spam? Please get a life, sir. Rip to your dash, yo. We still remember you. Rip to yo dash, yo. When was it? I don't know that one. Can you never save? You can never save money by spending less when you don't need to spend it in the first place. True. I think I agree with you, Prime Directive. How long were you dating Louise before you made her your girlfriend? Wait, what? Tim? I don't understand. Usually, in my world at least, when you're dating someone, that's your girlfriend. There's not like a There's not like a before that situation. Oh my goodness. Sorry for the spam, folks. I'm doing my best. We're banning him as quickly as we can because this is what someone does for a living. I want a Tesla, but don't drive enough to justify spending money on it. Yeah, I think a lot of us are in that same position. Let's see. You should modify your Hyundai to be electric and slap an iPad to be a poor man's Tesla. Yeah, I'm sure that's real easy. I'm sure it's very, very simple to just swap it out with an electric motor. Yeah, I don't think so. I'm not good at that kind of thing, and even if I was, I believe it would take forever. They were denied attention as a child. Got to make up the deficit. Okay. Actually, it makes me feel more sorry for them, I guess. Less frustrated. Good point, Roth. Let's see. I think they mean how many dates before making it official. Well, me and Louise, hung out as friends. I called it a friendationship because we weren't really dating, but we would meet up a few times just to talk for a while. Probably a good year or so. I mean, I met her in September. I think it was September of 2015 we met, and we didn't officially label it as dating until January 1st of 2017. I actually vlogged the day we met. If you go back and watch some of the very, very first vlogs, Ross was there. I was hanging out with Ross. We were in the College Connections program, and we were forced to meet up with all the other people in different College Connections groups, and Louise was from a different class that was also in College Connections, so we had to hang out and just get to know each other and that kind of thing. So that's when we met up, and we just became friends, and we talked and hung out a lot for the first year or so. There were a few times we stopped talking because we felt like it was moving too close to being a relationship, but we weren't ready for it to be officially a relationship yet. So, yeah. Ross is like, I was there when it was written. They had donuts. That's true. I forgot about that. Yeah, at the meetup when I met Louise, there was donuts. Maybe that's why I was enjoying it so much. Let's see. Do you ever go deep sea fishing in the Pacific? Wow, that's a big question. No, I don't, but that does sound fun. I would like to sometime. Deep sea fishing. Sounds cool. Let's see. Why do you have a favorite Android phone of all time? Well, it's a common question. You know, it came up a lot in the tech community. People are like, if you had to get an Android phone and it couldn't be this, what would you do? You know, that's what there's a lot of hypotheticals that get asked that a lot, that's for sure. Let's see. Do you prepare your videos days ahead or just as it goes? I make them usually day of. So if you're watching a tech video or EV video that just came out, it's most likely been recorded 3 or 4 hours, within probably less than that, within 2 hours ago. So by the time, if you're like one of the notification squad or whatever, and you watch the video right away, then I probably recorded it about 2 hours before you're watching it. College go to get a degree, get a wife instead by Andrew Erickson. I actually joined College Connections not to get a degree, but because College Connections involved getting out of school at noon. So for those who don't know, College Connections means that you finish your senior year of high school. I was still at high school at the time, but you start doing community college at the same time, so you start getting some college units. Ross was also in the program, and now he's way ahead. I think Ross is like a few months away from a 4-year degree or something like that. I think he's close, right? Remind the chat, Ross. You're really close. I know that you got a degree in some kind of record time because of College Connections and taking summer online courses and that kind of thing. But yeah, we basically finish our last year of high school at a college. But if I joined College Connection, they said that you'd be done with school by noon instead of by 3 o'clock, which is what would happen if you were at, traditional high school. So I was like, oh, cool. I can just be done with school earlier. I'll do it. I'll take it. So that's why I was in College Connections. And then obviously me and Louise were dating for almost 2 years before we got married. Ever consider going full shaved? Actually, when I proposed to Louise when I was in Florida, I shaved completely. And that was the last time, I think. That was the last time I took everything off, and I looked at myself and I was like, I don't dig this look anymore. And Louise, she was happy because she wanted. Oh, wow. Ross says it's 2 years out, but he has 2.5 degrees. Dang. So 2 years from now, he could have 2 full degrees? That's kind of cool. I like that. What are some other countries that you wish... What are some other countries have that you wish that U.S. has? Oh, I don't know. Not a lot. There's been a lot of situations in the tech world where people have just continuously came at me saying, like, what? It's not like this isn't available outside of the U.S. and this price is way higher outside of the U.S. or that kind of thing. So when that happens, it's like, well, I don't really sound too tempted to go elsewhere. I guess, I don't know. There's a few countries I've heard of that have better healthcare situations than us, but there's some downsides to that when it comes to taxes as well. So, I don't know. Give me some ideas. Give me some pitches. Here's some things from other countries. Would you want this in the U.S.? Would you want this in the U.S.? That'd be probably easier. Ooh, Majestic Chicken says, I got engaged last December, and my fiance and I are thinking we'll postpone our wedding until summer 2022. How did you guys budget your wedding? I think, wow. Congratulations, by the way, on getting engaged. That's awesome. I think people over-exaggerate their wedding, and they act like it's a bigger deal than it really is. It's really just a party. It's a cool party, but, we had, like... the county we were in was like on fire and people were getting evacuated like crazy when we were getting married. So a bunch of people that we invited couldn't make it. So that was that was kind of a bummer, but at the same time we weren't going to like postpone the wedding because we were too ready. We were too ready to move on. We were like all ready to get moved in and set up. And I think people, act like their wedding needs to be huge and needs to have all these people and needs to have this big butt. And it really doesn't. At the end of the day, it's the one day in your life you really get to be justified for being selfish. You get to justify yourself being like, okay, it's just about us today. Let's not worry about everybody else. And the bigger deal you make, the more expensive it ends up costing you. And people are really there to support you. And I think the issue with a lot of weddings is that people turn it the other way around and start making it all about them. And they start turning it into, well, why didn't I get invited? I feel offended that you didn't want to invite me. And that kind of, it's like, we're getting married for us. We're not getting married so we can feed all of our friends. That's not the point. So I think people misunderstand it. And, basically, I know a lot of people in my personal life that have spent way too much on weddings. And we barely spent anything. I think we spent a few $100. It was mainly just family that was there. It was quiet, personal, and just it's a big enough deal that you're, committing yourself to someone for life. Like, don't add extra stress of making it like a giant, like, event or a party or a concert and that kind of thing. But don't stress that as being the whole purpose of the event. That's just going to take away from the true magic of it. And you don't want to be thinking about, I hope people are going to be okay with the food while you're, trying to commit to someone else, for life and that kind of thing. So that would be my recommendation. I mean, if you want to postpone it, that's fine. There's no harm and no judgment to anyone who wants to have a big wedding. That's just my recommendation. Because when you think back at your wedding, I don't think you're going to be imagining, oh man, there were so many people there and the food was so good. You're going to be thinking about the person you were with and the vows you made to them. That's what I think matters most. So, yeah. I would turn on slow mode, but I got to get going anyway. But thank you all for your super chats. Very generous today. Daniel Holloway, how's it going? I'm sorry you had to cancel your wedding as well. It's a shame to hear that, but I hope that the pandemic can be controlled, and you guys can commit to your significant others best you can. And I hope we can make the most of it, and we can still have a good time as best we can remotely. And yeah, we're doing good. Me and Louise are good here. We're holding out. We're both working from home and making the best of our situation. So appreciate you all tuning in. We got some more vlogs, more videos in the works, but don't expect too much to come out in the next couple days. Of course, you can tune into Talos podcast channel. That should have some old archive stuff. There's plenty of content over there. But thank you all for tuning in. Hope you have an excellent day. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.